Okay. Noted. Where's the chat? So you got my question? I will. Okay. All right. So the majority of the attendance. That's great. Then you are in the right place. All right. So I welcome you everyone here to this workshop on how to prepare for your thesis defense. And I'm sorry. Okay. So before I start, I would just like to introduce myself to you guys because I'm going to be spending the next 1.5 hours with you. So it will be a nice idea to know who is this person who's talking to you. So my name is Dream Alderd, and I am a PhD student at UAEU. I have recently graduated from the master program, and I just defended my master thesis defense on February before Corona takes over, before the masks. Um, And I've been asked by the College of Graduate Studies to give a workshop on how to prepare for your defense, and I am honored to share a little of my experience, my modest experience with you guys. And I hope this workshop will be useful for you and beneficial. I hope at least 10% will be useful for you in your defense, inshallah. And I wish you all the best, and I'm sure you guys will be great and amazing in your defense. So before I start, let me just uh, please feel free to, I'm not sure if you can unmute the mic, but if you can do that, so, and you want to say something and share something with me, please feel free to turn on the mic and talk to me. I would like to have this workshop more of a discussion than just me lecturing to you. So please feel free to turn on the mic. All right. So the contents of this presentation, first of all, we're going to have an overlook, a brief introduction about what is a research talk and what is the purpose of it, just briefly. Then we'll be talking about the material that you should have on your defense presentation from the PowerPoint slides and how they should be appearing. Then we move to the most important part of this workshop, which is giving you some tips on how good you should do that by practicing your communication skills that will make you confident in your defense, inshallah. And we reach to the end where we reach to the most scariest part for most of us. But allow me to convince you at the end of this presentation that this part is not as scary as you think. So we will be discussing more of the closed session and what happens in it and the kind of questions and answers you might get with your committee. So first of all, what is a research talk? I would like to ask this question for the attendants here, but I'm not sure if they can. Hira, can they answer?
Yes, they can answer. They can unmute themselves and answer.
All right. Okay, so anybody just give me a brief sentence about what is a research talk before, without reading the slide, in your own words. Maybe I might have it in the chat. No one? Okay, fine, I'll do it. So basically, what is a research talk? So you have a research project you've been working on. It is not an essay. It is not something, it is not a report that you write down. It's not an assignment that you have to submit it for your class and you get graded for. It's not an info dump. Are you familiar with the term info dump? Info dump is an expression that is describing something that is so informative, that has a lot of information. And usually you see this in narrations when people talk about themselves and their lives and their experiences. So a research talk is not like that. It's not any regular lecture you might have in your courses, but it is to give an analysis of a research topic, a research project. I know that you guys spend like 2 or 3 years doing a research project. Now, this day is for you to talk about it. And not only that, you have to respond to questions, interact with the audience, ask and answer, doing this kind of discussion that will lead into a valuable scientific discussion. So it's not just like any talk, it's just a scientific discussion where you as a presenter, you will have to be having a critical thought about the topic. You need to know everything you're talking about. You need to know exactly every detail in your research. And let me tell you something and put that in your mind, write it somewhere. Nobody knows better than you in your project. Nobody knows better than you. You have to know everything about your research, and I believe you already do because you spent your time conducting your experiments, writing, and all of that, so you know better. So make sure when you reach the defense day, you know everything, and I'm sure you do. You have to have a clarity of thoughts and focus, same point, and you have to be able to respond respectfully and intellectually to others. As I just mentioned, we are here to discuss your work, so you have to have the ability of knowing how to interact with questions that might be raised by the audience. Okay, now we move to the material and how should you prepare it. Make sure when you come to collect or to prepare your presentation, make sure you prepare it so that it tells a story logically. This is the basic trend in any scientific research, and I'm sure all of us are familiar with it. Make sure your presentation slides starts with a scientific question. As we all know, a scientific research starts with a problem. Observing something in the universe, a phenomena or whatever, and then you raise a scientific question to this problem. Then you go to the solution. You try to find a solution by conducting experiments, doing analysis, investigations, and so on. So out of these, what you get is a solution support, which is your data, graphs, figures, tables, so on. Then you reach to the conclusion where you finally solved your problem. Sorry. And you have supported it with data. When you come to think about a story, think of it as a movie. You see, a movie is a series of events, a series of actions, and they are all related to each other. At the end of the movie, you will be able, even if in the middle you don't understand anything, but at the end you should understand what was going on, right? That's a movie was all about. Here, it is similar. So make sure you prepare your story in order and try your best to link them, especially when you come to the data. I know that you might have a lot of data. You should actually. So try to choose the most important ones. Try to choose the most important results that really supports your talk and relate them. When I say relate them, for example, say or use words like, we wanted to do this, we wanted to investigate this, and we find this, and that led us to do that, and then we were able to do that. You know, this kind of talking and these kind of words you should use. Link them together to make up a story. It is so important, guys, because the audience will be more engaged with you, they will interact even more with you, and they will be able to understand what you're saying. Now we move to some guidelines of how your PowerPoint slides should be. I'm sure that you guys have done so many presentations before, and in the master level, I'm sure that you guys are professional enough to use a professional theme in PowerPoint. This is very important. Away from flowers and shining stars and these kind of things. No, this is elementary school. We're not in elementary school. We are master students here, okay? And I'm sure we all are aware of this, right? So just a simple theme, professional in the PowerPoint. The font. See, I know that you guys know this already, but it's good to remind you of that. Your font, make sure its color is clear and readable for everyone. The size, make it consistent throughout the whole presentation. Don't make it so big, don't make it so small, because you have to put in your mind that the audience are here to listen to you, okay, but some people in the audience, they like to read. They do read. So make sure your font size is suitable. And then you have to use a background that is simple. This one depends on your personal preference of how you like to design your PowerPoint. That's fine, it's good. But personally, for me, I like to have light backgrounds. As you can see here, my background is white. I have this little column here. It's just simple. And make sure it is consistent. Make sure it's the same throughout the whole presentation. And one more thing, I just got it in mind when I saw this number. Make sure your slides are numbered. This is not so important, but I see it important, and it makes it even more professional, because when it comes to questions, people might tell you, can you go back to slide 6, please? And then you will be able to see slide 6 very quickly. You see? It matters. All right, now make it simple. And I just mentioned something similar to this, your data. I know you have a lot of data, so please sit with your thesis, see the amount of data you have, talk with your supervisor, and decide on what data you should include in your presentation. I will tell you a story of one of my friends. She's in the College of Engineering. You will not believe that she has a thesis of 300 pages. 300 pages thesis. She was able to turn that into only 25 slides. And it was simple, it was clear, and everybody was able to understand that. Even me, maybe I didn't mention that at the beginning, my background in chemistry, and she was doing civil engineering, yet I understood everything she was saying because it was simple, it was based on a storytelling, so it was easy for me to get it. So please make sure you choose the right data, the strongest data that supports your talk, and relate them, as I mentioned before, in a way that will be as a story. The last point here, I find it myself very important, using graphics and animation. And when I say use graphics, I mean you have to make them. If you want to get already prepared graphics from somewhere, from the internet, that's fine. But I know you guys are capable enough to make your own. Trust me, it will differ. Wallah. It will show how creative you are and how hard worker you are to do your own thing. And you can use, there are so many softwares to do so. But for me, the simplest one is to do it by the PowerPoint. If you sit with PowerPoint, by the way, trying to figure out and discovering PowerPoint, you will be amazed of how many different things you can do by it. It's amazing. It's a simple tool, yet it gives you a lot of options to do stuff. For example, here, These samples that I just used here, these are not already prepared one, or I didn't copy paste them from anywhere. They are from PowerPoint. You see, they look professional, they look simple, and they look cute to me. So it gives kind of a life to your slide. So use PowerPoint. And animation. Of course, we know though, but when I say animation in PowerPoint, not the old-fashioned animation, be creative. Again, in PowerPoint, you can do so many good movies, so many good animations in it. Please use it. It's so simple. It might take you time, but trust me, it will worth it. Please do use it. So think of your research. If you might have any graphics or animation, so please do it. Here I will show you an example from my own defense. Throughout the whole workshop, I'll be talking about my defense as an example. So in terms of graphics, believe it or not, this whole slide is my thesis. This only one slide is Reem's thesis. Let me explain it to you. I know maybe most of you don't have chemistry background, but I will just make it simple so that you guys understand it. So basically, I was developing a sensor device. A sensor is basically a device that detects something and it gives you a signal upon this interaction with something. My sensor was basically chemical. That means I was using a chemical structure to detect this something. I was mostly detecting cadmium ions. Cadmiums are known, they are the brothers of mercury. They are so toxic. And they threaten the environment, and they are found in contaminated in water samples and so on. So it is a threat to the environment. So that was our problem, cadmium toxicity. So the solution is that we wanted to develop a sensor device to detect cadmium. If you have water, you suspect it has cadmium, just bring on this device, detect it, and so on. And the kind of signal you will get is blue shining. The material will shine blue, telling you that, yes, there is cadmium. I don't want to go in detail talking about it, but I hope you guys get the idea. So this slide, what does it tell me? That I have fabricated a device that is chemically based, and this is a cross-section of what I have. This is a nanomaterial structure that is based on supramolecular interaction with blah, 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 blah. I'm not gonna cause you a headache with it. So once you excite the sample, this is the water sample that you suspect it has cadmium. Once you excite it, it will give you an emission or a blue light detecting cadmium. Simple. That was my thesis. You see how important this is? I mean, I could have done even better than this, but this was simple enough for me to proceed. So if you think you might have something similar in your research, doing something like this, please do it. It will engage the audience more and it will attract them even more. Now, this is another example of the animation kind of thing. And again, it's brought up from my own defense. See, when you have an animated theme, make sure that the audience, when they want to see or watch an animation, they will watch it on the screen and they will listen to you. Just like a movie trailer. You see some selected scenes from that movie and somebody talking about it or describing it, right? You have to do the same. That means during or while you are playing the animated theme here, make sure you speak up along with it and make sure you know what to say on each animated step. Okay, I will give you an example. I will try to remember what I was saying on this slide from my defense. just to deliver the idea of how important you have to play and speak at the same time. Okay, Reem's defense. So we have our nano structured material that is based on a host-guest complex material as a sensor device. So when you introduce a cadmium ions at pH 7, what will happen is that all the cadmium will be bonded to MNA ligand, and once you excite the material with a 375 laser diode, it will give you a blue emission at 450 nanometer, and this is what we call the on state. Now, to reset the mechanism, you have to have it at pH 3. So what will happen is that all the cadmium ions will be washed away, the MNA will be cationic form, and this is what we call the off state. So when you excite this material, it will give you no emission. Just to collect your sample, you have to apply a magnet at pH 7, and then your material is restored again, and it is ready to accept another sample. So this is an example. I hope you got the idea of me trying to tell you that you have to speak appropriately to the animation. Now I will, I will play it again. And I want you to take a moment watching this and thinking of your own. Think that, okay, in my research, would I have something similar? Think about it, and just by watching it, okay? So I hope it's clear now, and I hope that you guys have an idea of what you might do. It's not necessarily to do it, but I highly recommend you do such a thing. Trust me, it will give more value to your work. Anyway, so we reached to the most important part, and isn't it why we are doing this workshop in the first place? Is to have some tips of how good we can be. Let me just take a moment to see these chats that you guys have. Maybe someone. All right, great. I'm not sure if these messages will be recorded so that I can answer them at the end, but I'll try my best to answer them at the end.
Reem, if somebody will ask question, it's okay. I will speak it loud for you.
Okay. Okay, so far, does anybody have a question? Maybe you can.
Right now, I don't think so. Anybody has a question.
Because I've seen in the chat box there's. Okay, I'll keep the chat, and at the end
Yes,
we might.
yes, Mariam.
Okay.
No.
Or you know what? We can do it at the end. Maybe I mean.
Yeah. No
the chat
problem.
will be recorded as well, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'll try to come to it at the end. Now, let's have some tips. So for this section, I divided actually into 3 parts. What you should do before the defense day, on the defense day, and at the end of the defense day, or after the defense. So before the defense day, I'm sure that you guys now thinking, and overthinking. You guys are so nervous, and you are tensionable, and you don't allow anyone to speak to you. I know this. We've been all through this. But let me tell you, We are here to convince you that this is totally fine. It's so fine. Take it so easy. You've been doing this master for like 2-3 years. You spend so much effort. You spend a lot of time in the lab doing experiments, sacrificing the pleasure moments with your family and friends just to get your work done. I know that. We know that. So think of your defense day as a day to remember and save the date. You know, when they do engagement and wedding days, they save the date and they celebrate it every year. So it's the same idea. Just do this. Think of this, okay? Because it's the day where you celebrate yourself. You celebrate your hard work. You celebrate your effort. And not only you, your friends, your family, everybody is celebrating this with you. So it's a special day. So no need to, okay, I agree, we do get nervous, but don't let it over you, please. So before the defense day, one and most important thing you should do is that you have to read your thesis very well. At the beginning, I told you, nobody knows your work better than you. But even if you know every single letter in your thesis, please, for me, read it at least 1-2 times before the defense. Read it very well, interact with your thesis, talk to it, let the data speak to you and talk with it. It's fine, this is not crazy. You can do that, it's fine. So interact with it, read it very well, and not only that, try to predict some questions, what they might ask me, not only the committee, the audience, everyone. What kind of questions will be raised, and prepare for them, answer them. And you have to I'm sorry, there's something wrong with my mouse. You have to discuss this with your supervisor. It's always a good idea to discuss this with your supervisor. You know, because your supervisor, he has more experience, he has more information, and because usually the supervisor is the one who suggests or brings over the external member. I mean, he chooses the members of the committee, so he knows how they think and he knows their background and the researchers and so on. So he might have an idea of what kind of questions they might have about your research. So it's always a good idea to ask your supervisor what they might ask. And I will tell you what happened with me that day. You know, my external examiner was named Dr. Ali. Remember his name because I might talk about him later. I asked my supervisor what he might ask me, Dr. Ali. And because he knows him and he's been collaborating with him for a long time, so he knows his field very well. So he told me he will ask you such and such, and I'm sure he will. And I was like, okay, fine. I prepared for it. I was ready. And subhanallah, on the closed session, Dr. Ali did ask me the same question. And I was able to answer it confidently because I was prepared for it, because my supervisor told me, because he knows. So yeah, then I answered and Dr. Ali was like, yeah, nice, okay, she knows, but that was a moment, okay? So please do discuss this with your supervisor and ask it, okay? The other thing is, and this depends on you, on your personal way of how you look at this, because we are so nervous, you need to let go of this negative energy, de-stress. And there are so many different activities and exercises you can do. I just give you some examples. You can work out at the gym. I know one of my friends did it, and she was totally de-stressed. It worked with her. You can pray. I know you guys are praying from now, and you are asking everybody else to pray for me. But yeah, keep praying, keep having faith in Allah. And meditate. Some people like to meditate by playing some Chinese relaxation music, I don't know. So if you can do yoga, okay, that's another thing. And you do breathing exercises. This helps very well. And again, it depends on you how you can de-stress yourself. But please, if you have something in mind that relieves you, please do it. Okay? The very most important thing, at least for me, is to practice. You see, when I say presentation, that means communication skills, right? I say skills, not gifts. We weren't born with it. Okay, we were born with so many things, literally, and then we develop it by practicing. On your defense day, before that, please practice 6 to 7 times at least. Of course, you should do more. At least 6 to 7 times practice. If we have an access to the mic, I would ask for a volunteer. Hira?
Yes.
Can you unmute the audience, please?
Yes, sure. Is there anyone who wants to say something? That person can raise.
Volunteer, please.
Somebody can raise their hand so that I can unmute them. Is there anyone who is interested?
I'm not asking you, I will not ask you for a Moza. Hi, Moza. You hear me?
Okay, Moza, yes.
It appears that she raised the hand. Can you?
Yeah, I will unmute her.
Hello, Reem.
Yes.
Hi. Who's that?
So, you want us to speak about something?
Are you Moza?
Yes, I am. Sorry about the
hi,
voice.
Moza.
It doesn't match right.
No, that's fine. I'm glad one of you was able to speak up. So,
All right.
Moza, I will ask you for one thing.
Yes.
I want you to tell me or tell us a sentence, only one sentence, without thinking. Sentence about your research. Without thinking.
My research is actually showing a relationship between type 2 diabetes and osteoporosis through microRNAs.
Okay, that's it?
Yes.
All right. Moza, thank you. I will ask you to repeat the same sentence again. The same sentence with the same words.
With the same words,
Yep.
again.
Yeah.
Okay, we want to find the relationship or connection between type 2 diabetes and osteoporosis through microRNAs.
Okay, thank you again, Moza. Just bear with me. I want you to repeat it one more time, please.
All right, okay. We want to have a connection between type 2 diabetes and osteoporosis through microRNAs.
Thank you so much, Moza.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
as Moza volunteered, and I thank her, I want you to recall what happened at the first time she said that sentence and the last time she said it. At the beginning, Moza was like, pausing, you know? And then when she repeated that, the pauses were less. And when she repeated that, it was even less. So the take-home message I want to deliver to you guys is that when you practice, you memorize. When you do the thing, and we all agree on this, when you do something for the first time, your mind is not familiar with it. And we always say the first time is always the hardest, right? And then when you do something else, it becomes easy. That's the same point. When you do it at the first time, you might struggle, but once you repeat and repeat and repeat, your mind now is familiar with it, and it will just like, okay, I memorize it, I know what you want, so I will say it directly, without pauses, without, you know? So you will master it. You will reach to the point where you will get saturated with the information. You will feel like you are being overwhelmed with the information. It's fine. I want you to be overwhelmed, because you will be feeling so confident about yourself that you are mastering what you're saying. So please, guys, practice, 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 practice. Okay? You see how important this is? I wrote it like 1, 2, 3, 4 times, but no, at least do it 6 to 7 times practicing. Okay? And of course, it's always good to practice. I mean, you suggest the way you want to do it. You want to practice in front of yourself on the mirror. I know some people, they do practice in front of their supervisor for feedback. This is fine. They do practice in front of their friends, some people outside their fields, to be judging their communication skills rather than the research itself. That's fine. Do it the way you want, but practice and get feedback. Okay? Now, on the Defense Day, our big day, again and again, it is a day to remember. It is the day where you celebrate yourself, your effort, your hard work. Not only you and your friends and family, of course, and everyone. So, what you should do during the talk. When we talk about that, we should think about the communication skills that you have to have. The communication skills that you have to practice to develop it. Again, practice. So I have some tips here. Start strongly. By that, I don't mean like shouting or fighting. No, start strongly, like keep your audience attracted from the first moment they see you. From the first moment you start to speak, keep them attracted. For me, personally, the most important thing is the introduction for me, or the opening sentence of how am I gonna start this presentation. If I started right, the way I want it, the rest of the presentation is amazing. If I was nervous about it and not sure, I was like anything just to say anything, I will remain with this condition, and it will give me not so good presentation, at least not a qualified presentation that I'm looking for. So you always have to choose an attractive introduction, and you have to keep in mind to attract the audience from the beginning. I will share with you my own introduction. So I'm sure all of us have attended so many thesis defenses, and this is one of my top secret steps. I'm gonna share it with you, okay? So, I mean, we all expect that how are they gonna open up the presentation? Like, Hello, my name is Rima Alzard, and today I will be presenting my thesis defense entitled as pH control blah 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 under the supervision of Dr. blah blah blah. And here's the content, and this is how they started, right? And this is what we always do. But on my defense day, I was thinking that no, I want to do something different. I mean, this is what people are expecting. But no, I want to make it a day to remember. Not only for me, but for the audience. So I was like, hello, everybody. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome everybody here in the room. Before I proceed with my talk, I would like to have a little chat with you. When the audience heard that, they were like, too bad this workshop is online, otherwise I will act it for you. They were like, you know, they were engaged, like they were like, huh? She wanna chat with us? And then I was like, let me ask you a question. How many of you here in the room happen to be a seafood lover? A seafood lover? So the audience like, what? Is that a thesis defense? And she's asking us about seafood? What's going on? So they were attracted even more. And what is she talking about? And then I started to relate these questions to cadmium. As I mentioned before, cadmium is found contaminated in seawater. Now it has a relationship with seafood. So if you are a seafood lover, be careful. It might be contaminated with cadmium and blah, 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 blah. You see my point? This was my introduction. And trust me, I was so nervous at the beginning, but when I did that, when I was talking with the audience, I felt like, oh, no harm. They are my friends. We were just having a little chat before I started, so no need to be stressed. So the rest of my defense was amazing. And you can ask people about it. The point is, I'm not asking you to do the same introduction. Just do your own thing. Do something they are not expecting you to have and start strongly. Okay? Smile and make an eye contact. You see, some of these tips are, I'm sure that unfortunately most of you are going to be doing this defense online. So these tips, I'm sure that we all know it, but they are important. That's why I mentioned them again. And you guys are so lucky to have an online defense. Then you're not gonna have to smile and do eye contact. Anyway, but for the future, of course, it's good to know it and it's good to practice it. You have to smile and make an eye contact, not to look into one point. For example, you can look at the very, very end seats that has nobody sitting on it. You can look there and look into empty places. If you are not good at eye contacting or you feel shy to look at people in their eyes, just look at empty places, but make sure you spread the looks all around, okay? And of course, smile, but not too much smiling. Not too much smiling. Smile, little cute smile, won't hurt, okay? Use your voice effectively. This is for online as well. You have to use your voice effectively. When you practice, you will know how to do it. And by default, your mind will be trained on it and it will happen naturally, spontaneously, without you feeling it, okay? Talk not so, make your voice not so low that you are whispering and not so loud that you're shouting, okay? You just control your tune, but make sure you use a variable tunes, okay? Interact with the audience, that's very important. Because at the beginning, if you remember, I said, this is a discussion. This is a research talk discussion. Okay, so you are expected to be asked questions, you are expected to answer, and you are expected to interact with the audience, and trust me, it will make you less nervous. I know the audience are already your friends and you know they are my friends and they're my family, but despite that, we still feel nervous. So when you interact with them, they make you, it makes you less nervous. So do interact with the audience by raising questions, for example, uh, asking for their opinions, saying phrases or words such as, is that clear? Fine, understood. Anybody has questions so far? You know, these kind of expressions, you can use them, okay? Just keep them engaged, keep them interacting with you. Use your body again. This is for oral presentations, but you guys are lucky again to have it online, but it's fine for your future experiences. So using the body is very, very important. You have to use your hands, you have to walk around, but not too much. You have, and that also helps in making your audience being attracted to you, okay? Just use your hands in a way. Don't dance, no dancing here, okay? Just use it appropriately, fine? Okay. Use models and tools. This is not really important, but I believe it will add a great touch to your presentation and people will remember it, trust me. In my, for example, in chemistry, we have models of molecules and bonds and so on. And in my defense as well, on my defense, I used the model of a structure. To be honest, I didn't use it much. I used it more in the closed session when they were asking me questions, so I was explaining on it. But the point is, when I introduced the structure, people got to see it. You know, it was drawn on the slide, the structure of my compound, and people got to see it in real life, visualized by a model. So that will help them that will help them imagine what I was talking about, and it will deliver the message more easily. And this is very important if you hear in schools, they call it something like hands-on activity where they use stuff, materials, and so on. So this is very important. So if you have some models, I know biology people, they have a lot of models. So any biology people in the house, please use it. If you have engineering people, they might have models, so it doesn't hurt to use it. Even if it's online defense, by the way, if you are fine by turning on the camera, explaining something on that model, that will be great, because people will remember it, trust me. And at the end, just need to relax, breathe well, and enjoy it. As I said, and I always keep saying, this is a day to remember. It's not just a day to remember for you, but also for everyone in the room, for everyone who's attending this defense. They will remember it. So just enjoy it. Just enjoy it, relax, and everything will be fine. Believe me, everything will be fine. Now, after your defense, please have in your mind and train your brain on this, that I want my audience, because you see, the majority of your audience, I'm sorry to say that, but it's true, the majority don't know what you're talking about, okay? Or they don't have a related background to your research or something. But for those people, or for the whole audience, please keep in mind to leave them with these thoughts, that they have understood the problem and why was it important and why I was addressing it. They have an idea or a clue or a little understanding of what was the solution and how was it better than others and so on. And this one is very important. You might have one or two people in the audience thinking about ideas that are related somehow to your project or to some points in your project that leads to and to open up another door, another research, another project, and they might collaborate with you on that. That's the purpose of a scientific talk, is that we are brainstorming ideas. Research is endless. Ideas bring on coming and coming and coming. So they might collaborate with you, and you might get publications, you might work somewhere, so it will be useful for you. So make sure you put this in mind, and trust me, it will encourage you to do well. And at the end, keep them with the most important idea that whenever somebody remembers your defense, that they will say, oh, she or he, they did great job. They were amazing. We will never forget this day. Keep them with this idea. And I'm definitely sure that each and every one of you will do just amazing, inshallah. Now to the closed session, the scariest part of all this thing. As I promised you, I will try to convince you that it's not as scary as you think. Because as I mentioned before, and I will keep mentioning that, this defense is not what the meaning of the word defense is. As I said, it's just a discussion. So please put in your mind that even the closed session is a discussion rather than an examination. Okay, they will ask you questions, but you are fully prepared for them. You will answer. Because again, nobody knows better than you in your project. The committee will ask you questions, and trust me, most of the questions they ask themselves, they don't know the answer for. And they're asking you out of their curiosity. They want to know what might happen if and whatever. They don't know the answer for. I remember in my defense day, okay, I will tell you later when I come to the next slide. Anyway, so as I told you, it's just a discussion, brainstorming of ideas. Everybody is having different ideas, so they might ask you things that they don't know the answer for, or they want to see how you think. Because sometimes they might know this answer and they ask you this question to see the way you think because they see something in you, because they want to discover something in you. So please take it as a good chance to prove yourself, to evolve scientifically, okay? Because they want to discover you, okay? So don't panic. Don't just take it easy. It's just a talking, okay? And of course, you are not expected to be perfect, and the committee already knows that. I mean, they've been through this already. They did their master defenses and they were in a closed session and they were been asking and they were answering questions. They've been through this already and they have done it with other students. So they know and they have an experience of what happens in a closed session. So you are not expected to be perfect. Perfection is, nobody's perfect except Allah. And I am sure that everybody is aware of this. So trying to be perfect and thinking about being perfect is stressful. So you guys don't stop thinking about it that way. You don't have to be perfect. You just need to work hard. You need to be prepared. You need to practice. You do your best and you come and present it. That's it. This is more than enough. Okay? And they will guide you. Of course, they will guide you. For example, if you don't know the answer, like they will repeat the question or they will See, the examiners are professors, and of course, their background information and the kind of information they have is way more advanced than you. I'm sorry to say this, but it's the truth. They know better, they know a lot, and the level of information they have is so advanced compared to us. So when they ask you these questions, they are expecting you not to know, because they know that your level of information is not compared to their level, so it's expected that, oh, she won't know it, but it's good to bring it on, okay? And trust me, they will guide you, they will try to ask it in a way, or bring some terms that is familiar more to you, and so on. They will help you, okay? So don't stress out. Another thing, it is totally fine to say, I don't know. Nobody knows everything. We weren't born to know everything. Okay, even if I'm the only person who knows better in my research, but still, what is the point of having research if you know everything? Isn't this the purpose of research? Is just to, you don't know the answer. That's why we do research, to know the answer, right? And we still, no matter what we did, no matter how many data or results we provided, we still lack something. This is normal. So saying I don't know is totally fine. And as I mentioned before, the committee themselves, they might not even know the answer. Okay? Okay. So, but I would prefer to practice another professional way of saying this. I mean, if you say I don't know it, I mean, okay, fine. But I would prefer to say something like, I don't know, but that's a great idea. I would think or suggest we might do such and such because of such and such. So I guess we need to use the technique of such and such to identify such and such in order to find out blah, blah, blah. Try to play with words. They will love it. So try to screenshot this sentence, practice it, remember it. But again, I'm not asking you to say I don't know for the whole closed session, you know. Just try your best to answer as much as possible. And it's okay if you reach to a point where you say, I don't know in this way. And at the end, the committee wants you to pass. Really, believe me, they want you to pass. Don't worry. Okay? I mean, what is this? Okay. They someone, and I'm sorry to say that, and I don't expect anyone who's like that, unless if you are someone who doesn't know anything about the research, or your research is, I don't want to say any words, but you know what I mean. But believe me, since you are at UAEU, the level of research is so advanced that all the research is highly advanced. And external examiners who are coming from other institutions, they know that. They know what is UAEU and what kind of research they do there. So they want you to pass. They are here to make you pass. And trust me, keep it in mind, write it somewhere again. You didn't reach to this point unless you are amazing. You didn't reach to this point unless you're amazing. You made it to this point because you are a hard worker, because you know exactly what a research is, and you know exactly what you did, and you're ready to defend it. And you are ready to defend it. Okay? So they want you to pass. Don't worry. Everything will be just fine. All you need to do is practice, practice, and some other tips, some other things, and everything will be just fine. So again, guys, as I kept mentioning in this workshop, that your defense day is a day to remember, a day to celebrate your hard work, your effort that you have invested in the lab with your supervisor. I just remembered something before I end. Remember, I told you I will keep something here. On the day of my defense, just about the point of the examiners when they ask you questions. I remember my defense in the closed session, my supervisor, I mean, Dr. Ali, the external, he was asking me something, and I said, I don't know, by the way. Yeah, I said that. And then he was smiling at me like, I knew you don't know. And believe it or not, my supervisor himself turned into him and looked at him, and he was like, oh, that's a good idea. And then my supervisor, during the closed session, he was taking notes. See, because this is the point of research. We are brainstorming ideas, you know? So my supervisor was taking notes for other ideas, for other researchers, and so on. So this is totally fine not to know the answer, right? So this is just one thing important that I just forget to mention. And what is this? Who is sketching on my slide? Thank you. Okay. So again, guys, as I said, I believe in each one of you that you will do a great job, inshallah. You have to promise me that you need to practice, and I'm sure you will. So I wish you all the best, and I believe in each one of you that you will do great, inshallah. And I thank you so much for attending this workshop. I wasn't expecting this number of attendees, so thank you so much, guys. This means a lot to me for having you attending my workshop. And thank you for the CGS as well to offer this. And again, I hope it was useful for you.
Thank you so much, Reem. Your workshop was very nice and you presented very well. And before I think ending, I want to tell everyone, please fill the Google form before leaving, because now they are leaving. And is there anyone who has any question, please you can ask.
I think I'll go back to the box, but guys, before leaving, if you have any concern or question, you can contact me here on my UAEU ID. I left it here for me. You can screenshot it. I'll just go back to the chat box.
There is Moza is asking, how long is the public defense?
How long is?
I think open session she is asking about.
Sorry?
I think Moza is asking about the open session. She's asking how
duration?
Long. Yeah, the duration of open session, yes.
I think she raised this question because she's nervous. You're still not convinced that it is not that scary. But anyway, well, I can't give you a specific answer because it depends. It depends on the externals.
I guess normally it is like around 45 minutes to 1
something
hour.
like that. Exactly. In my defense, I had like almost 1 hour discussion, but you will not feel it. Well, yeah, you can't specify a time. It depends. So.
Rahma is asking, what platform are online students using to present their online defense? Zoom, Team, or what? Like, Rahma, I think it's also depend on your professor, which platform they will use.
They might sometimes they use the Ultra, the Blackboard Ultra as well. So it depends, yeah, as Hira said, it depends on your supervisor and what they prefer.
There is another question. Is there any limit of number of slides?
You see, again, as I was mentioning about the storytelling, please just keep it simple yet informative. And this is something you have to discuss with your supervisor of what data should I include, and include the very important result that you think it supports your talk. Of course, you're not going to include everything. So please don't make it so long because the audience is going to be bored and you don't want them to get bored. Okay? So just try to keep it as simple as possible, yet informative. Okay? And this is something you can discuss with your supervisor.
Thank you so much, Reem.
Any other question? I think I've seen, is it 30 minutes to present?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Yes, this is Mariam. I'm one of the attendees. Thank you for this session. It's been really
Here, Mariam.
Yeah, I just had one question. In the beginning, you were talking about the animation, the graphics. Can you quickly show us where can we get those from PowerPoint?
Yes, definitely. I will show you.
Yeah, the purple square icons, and how do we get there?
Do you see my screen now?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, so basically, let me go back to the graphics where I have here. So you go to animation. Okay, you see how many numbers you have in here? So this each number represents a motion or an animated step. Don't panic. It might look complicated, but that's why I told you it might take a little while from you to do it, but do it with focus because sometimes it misses everything. So these are the animations, and then you add, no, these are the, yeah, animation, and you add it from here. And I will show you the animation ban. Look at this. This is where you control the motions and everything, and here you can control, for example, when do you want to start it. For example, start with the previous, yani with one click 2 steps will appear together. No, each step on the click, yani you and sometimes you can have a timing, and you have different options, or start after the previous, so you can control it easily depending on what you want. So, and here you can check the timing for how long it will be playing. So that's it. And you can from here, like, so yeah, you will see this arm. So just to spend some time, by the way, I learned this by my own. Well, nobody taught me. So just to spend a little time trying to figure out how to do it. And if you still need help, I had my email there, so you can still contact me. It's fine.
What about the graphics? You said in the beginning of your PowerPoint,
yes,
there was the purple square icons. You said you got them from here, yeah, right?
Here, these, right?
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
You just go to insert and icons.
Okay.
You have them, but you have to have the latest version of PowerPoint or Microsoft.
Yeah, I think
You
these
have
would
so many options here depending on what you want. Here, there are a lot of categories here.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you can get it from icons.
Great, thank you very much.
You're so welcome, sweetheart. All the best. Any other questions? I believe there were some questions at the beginning.
I think I already read all the questions. Here I
You
can
did?
find the recording of the session. Yes, you can find the recording of this session on our YouTube channel. I shared the link in the chat. Just go to that link and you can find all the workshops there.
I think Mosa is asking something.
there is one question. How to reply to rude questions coming
Rude.
from people who don't
Oh my
coming from people
God.
who don't know what they are talking about.
Yeah. See, there will not be rude questions. Don't worry about that. But if there was such a question, it will. This sometimes happens between supervisors and professors themselves. They pick on the student because they have some personal issues with their supervisors. So the student is the victim. I don't know what to say, but try to answer scientifically. Okay. And again, I'm not sure that they will ask rude questions. They might ask you scientific questions that might tease you or tease your supervisor, but try to be scientifically answering
Yeah,
personal.
right.
Person. You're welcome, Muhammad.
I think that's it. Thank you so much, Reem.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Hira, for being here. Thank you, everyone, once again. Have a good day and all the best, inshallah.
Thank you so much. Should we close the session now?
Nuran, I guess she's asking the duration.
Presenting.
This is actually decided by your college mostly, but I don't think it's gonna be more than 30 minutes. Yeah, not more than 30 minutes, yeah. So yeah, you're so welcome. All the best, everyone. Oh, that's so
so
sweet of
so
you.
many
Thank you.
so
Thank you so
many
much.
positive response.
Thank you so much. That's so sweet of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reem. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
everyone.
Thank you, Hira.
Welcome.